Welcome to a very poorly visited site here in Jordan. This is Qasr Al Hallabat. It's about 50 kilometers outside of Amman. It's a site that is about 2 kilometers long, and it encompasses this site here and also a bathhouse called Hammam, which is about 2 kilometers down that way. The site encompasses this mosque as well as this castle over here, which is an Umayyad castle. This is a pretty casual site. Nobody checked my Jordan pass as I came through the entry area. The security guys, the military, just waved me through. And then I started to walk up the hill and past house 17, 18, and this is house 19, which is a U-shaped configuration with multiple rooms. You can see a glimpse of the castle up there on the hill. It's probably about 400, maybe 500 meters up a gentle incline. Mobility, this is not a site for accessibility, so you do need to be fairly fit and walking the distance, even though there's no real steps. It is a gentle rise on the hill and there is no shade. This is the first of about 12 or 15 wells that are on this site. To have a population in any one area, you need to have water. In about the 8th century under Caliph Walid II, this 2nd century Roman fort was expanded into an Umayyad desert castle. We know that this area was rebuilt under the Caliph because there is angular Kufic script around the whole of the site, which actually dates the rebuilding under Walid II. This mosque follows a hypostyle, a column-supported design, typical of the early Islamic mosques. It has a rectangular prayer hall and an open courtyard, a sahan. It features a Qibla wall orientated towards Mecca with the mithrab or prayer niche indicating the direction to Mecca. This building used limestone and basalt, incorporating spulia, reused materials from early Roman and Byzantine structures. This mosque had a modest minaret with a square base which served for a call to prayer as well as being a watchtower. Decorative elements included carved stones, geometric patterns, and Kufic inscriptions. This mosque is small, reflecting its role as a regional area. The structure that you can basically see is from the 8th century in the Caliphate of Hisham ibn Abdul Malik, al-Malik, from about 724 to 743 CE. It actually has origins within a Roman structure. Originally, the Roman site here on this hill would have been, would have been known as Lime Arabicus, Arabicus, which was a defensive line along this ridge. There is the potential that this would have been a monastery during the Byzantine times, and Byzantine just means the Eastern Roman Empire. So as Rome expanded and got so far over here to the east, there was a schism, and the Roman Empire was centered out of Rome, and the Byzantine, which is now Istanbul, was Byzantium, was centered out of what is now known as Turkey. So from the Byzantines then came the Umayyads, and then this could have been more like an area for recreation. When we go in over this side, which I'm not sure which side it is, you can actually see the plaster that would have held the marble to the wall. So let's go in and have an explore. Before heading into the castle itself, let's just have a look at what other structures are on the site here at Al Hallabat. So walking over the ridge and looking to the west, you can see the vast expanse of this site. Not all the buildings have been excavated. Some of the excavations you can see are House 26, number 7, number 8, and number 10. About a kilometre away in the distance, you can just see the building 3, building 1, which have also been excavated. I have never taken the opportunity to walk down that far. Two structures are clearly visible near the entrance of Al Hallabat. To the left is a large circular stone formation, and over to the right is a large, deep square. Reading archaeological texts, I couldn't find what they were exactly used for. They could have been a cistern or storage of some kind. Entering through room 5, the entryway, you can see it is 2 defined rooms. This leads you onto the central courtyard area with the main focus of one of the many wells here on the site. There are actually only 8 wells. I thought there was more than 8 wells. So this one is centered right here in the courtyard. Moving over towards room 18, crossing a high threshold, you come to a small room with a supporting arch. This room leads into a large reception hall with a beautiful mosaic floor. In the middle of this reception hall, there is another one of the 8 wells. On the other side of this reception hall is room 15, 16A and 16B. I'm unsure what those structures are over there in the left-hand corner that you can just see. Coming back into the courtyard and looking at room 6 and the stairway going up to the 2nd floor. Entering room 10, you can see the plaster that would have held the marble or the stucco onto the walls. The stone is a combination of basalt and limestone. Passing through room 9, another staircase is visible in room 7. There is no access to room 8, which would have been the base of the watchtower, potentially on the northwest side of the castle. Walking back through rooms 9 and 10, we can see room 11 has these beautiful mosaics on the floor. From what I could see, the mosaics were geometric patterns. There was a tree, and I thought I could make out maybe potentially the shape of a bird within some of the other mosaics on this floor in room 11. These rooms would have been late additions in the Rashaned Praetorium typeface in the 6th century after the earthquake in 551 AD. Heading into room number 4, you can see some massive corbels that would have supported 2 huge arches that supported the ceiling in this room. In room 4, you have some amazing examples of Kufic script, the oldest calligraphy form of the Arabic script named after the city of Kufa in Iraq. The angular, geometric and highly stylized, making it suitable for monumental inscriptions. Used widely between the 7th and the 12th centuries, especially amongst Umayyads and Abbasids. The Kufic script has Quranic verses, names of officials, and the dates of when the building was reconstructed. Having a brief glimpse into room 2, it looks to be something like an olive press or something of that nature. There is a definite piece of engineering there on the floor. Most of the rooms are accessible from this central courtyard. Looking around, you can see all of the amazing arches in all of the other rooms. Moving into room 24 potentially was a banquet hall. It would have had marble lining all of the walls, and at times you can see remnants of the marble right down on the floor level where it's been broken off. The plaster that is angled to increase the surface area for where the pieces of marble would have been attached to the wall. Moving through room 23, once again there are large corbels on each side of the wall that would have supported another amazing arch. Moving through the next doorway into room 21, you are greeted with 2 sets of stairs, one going up to the left and then the other one going down. Room 21 has no other access point other than this doorway. Heading up the stairs to room 22, which would be potentially the southeast watchtower. From this elevated vantage point, you get a great view of houses 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, and across the ridgeline houses 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. From this substantial watchtower looking to the north, you can see houses 11, 12, 13 and 14 just on the other side of the mosque. A very wide solid wall, and looking back over towards houses 7, 8, 9 and 10 towards the south of the site. Once again, over on that far ridge line is houses 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Though I've never visited them, I will have to put them on my to-do list to do next time. After passing through the central courtyard again, turning to the left, going into room 20. In room 20, there is 2 sets of corbels on the walls to support these amazing arches. One there has been reconstructed. Looking back over to the wall to the left into room 21, where we had just been, and those stairs up to the southeast watchtower. In room 20, you can look through that small doorway and you look over room 19A and into that original older section of Limes Arabacus, the Roman fort from the 2nd century AD. That amazing mosaic floor that we saw earlier. So that's a visit to each of the rooms at Al Hallabat, the desert castle, the Umayyad castle, about 50 or 60 kilometers from Amman, near the city of Zaka. But not to be forgotten on this site is a 1-room museum that has examples of the restoration and the history of the site. The archaeological site has been preserved in conjunction with Spanish universities. In the museum there is the carvings, there is original mosaics. It gives you a very close look at the intricate artwork of the Romans, the Byzantines and the Umayyads. There is also examples of glass and clay pottery that has been dug from the site, And my favourite example of all the archaeological finds is the oil lamps, the simplest of household items that it would have been very vital to everybody. A very good display of the glass that was found on the site. The archaeological site of Al Hallabat is included in the Jordan Pass. I didn't actually have to show it, so this site is a little bit relaxed with that type of thing, clearly, but there was nobody else at the site. So if you were to be one of the travellers that come to this site, you would be doing more than most. These duck or dove carvings were quite sweet. I've never actually seen things like that before. If mosaics is something that you are really interested in, most of the larger souvenir tourism shops do have replica mosaics for sale. They can be as small as ostrich eggs covered in a mosaic design, or an outside table, a small round table. There's wall decorations. They're not available at this site, but if this is something that is interesting to you, you could buy it, and sometimes they will ship it to your home country so that you don't have to carry a heavy mosaic souvenir with you. The pottery, the earthenware, is quite amazing to know that a few centuries ago, this is what people were using in their daily life. The use of the mirror with this marble statue shows you what it is like, the intricacy at the back of the carving. There's those magical oil lamps that I love so much. And then there's a small display of some of the jewellery and pins that have been found on the site. So this is the end of the visit to Al Hallabat. So there is some rudimentary bathroom facilities available. Actually, they're fairly high standard, but always remember to bring your own toilet paper, because that's not something that they supply here out in the boondocks, 50 or 60 k's out of Amman. So we'll say goodbye to this amazing pottery.